See, on a military map, each high peaks has got, each mountain's got a number.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first one I went on was 424. And the second I went on was 1017. And on 1017, my buddy from over on Cold River, I've never been able to get a hold of him. His name's Price, too.
Mm-hmm.
But they call him Big and they call me Little. Big Price, Little Price. And, because he's bigger than I was.
Yeah.
Anyway, he went on this hill at 1017 before I did. And he said they went in there at night, and you know, everybody's tired by the time we got there. It was way up there to climb that mountain. And so they dug in that night, and the next morning, the Germans being in the same time, nobody said nothing, just dug in, everybody dug in. Here's all mixed together, you know. He woke up that morning and he said, well, he started to get up, and he raised up a little bit, and bang, a bullet went right by his head.
Oh.
He said he ducked back down in his slit trench, and he said, listen, there's a good bit of shooting going on. So he decided, well, it cooled down a little bit, and he decided he would look around, you know, and raised up a little bit, bang, another shot at him again, you know. And so he laid back down, and he seen, though, where the guy was at.
Mm-hmm.
And so he took and put his helmet on top of his shoe. And he put that up, he got his rifle ready, and he put that up like that, and the guy said, bang, and he got like that, and he killed him. And he laid back down his foxhole there a little bit, and said, well, it's quieting down, wasn't nothing going on, you know. He raised up a little bit, nothing didn't happen. So he said, well, I guess, you know, we've done whipped him. And he stood up and somebody shot him in the hind end.
Oh.
So they was carrying him off of the hill, and the guy on the front end of the stretcher stepped on an S-mine.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's, I don't know where you knew what an S-mine was or not. It's the thing had about 3 or 4 prongs that looked like the stem of a leaf,
Mm-hmm.
dead leaf. And they'd bury that thing in the ground, that's all stuck up. And you touch one of them, you know, bend a little bit, it would put the thing off. When you took your foot off of it, why, it would come, you know, about the height of your head, and it'd kill people for about 300 yards. It's all filled full of steelies,
Mm-hmm.
all bearings. And so this guy in front stepped on one, and he just froze. He knew what it was as soon as it went off. Well, Price Star got hit in the hind end, and then when that thing went off, it hit him in the hind end again.
Oh.
And this guy just froze, and it turned that stretcher loose and started running down the path. Well, that's one of them duds, and it took after it. And the farther the faster. He looked back and seen that thing following him, and said he was really moving on. Anyway, it went down to the curve and rolled on over the hill. He wouldn't come back by there to help him carry that old boy off there, so they had to carry him around below there before that guy helped him on that down. And they carried him on off to the first aid station.
Mm-hmm.
And then we relieved that outfit. No, we moved in there. And I was there one day, and I smoked then, you know, and I run out of matches, so I went to the guy about as far from me that dish cabinet in yonder. And I went around there and get me a light, you know, and we just sitting there talking and smoking and carrying on anyway. I said, well, I think I'll get back over here in my foxhole and maybe take a nap or something. I walked around there and got in that foxhole, and no more than got into, here come 2 shells in. And there was smoke, so they was trying to find out where we, you know, our range, how far we was from them, and all that stuff. And they put those 2 smokes in, and them 2 smokes killed him.
Mm.
One of them hit right at his hip, and the other hit right at his head, and I mean, it tore him up. His name was Ratliff. I remember his name and everything. Anyway, they started us out carrying. The lieutenant got hit. They started us out. There was a captain from Florida got hit, and our lieutenants, and one Lieutenant Nightingale, so the boy said, y'all take him down to the aid station, get back here, so I'm afraid we're going to be in trouble tonight. And we started out, we got down over the hill about, I don't know, maybe 100 yards. Boy, they threw the office barrage you ever seen on us. And you talking about the guys didn't believe in God?
Yeah.
The only people I seen was praying.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't slacking down to help them either.
Yeah.
we were all praying. Them shells were coming over so close to our heads, it'd raise the hair on your back, your neck, you know. And finally they let up a little bit, so we grabbed the captain up, took on down the hill, and went around that curve where the boy S-mine rolled over the hill. And we went on down and got him down to that aid station. And by the time we got down there, I mean, it was late and we were tired. So this boy that carried me over to get my dinner that day at the Thanksgiving, he was working there in the aid station, and he told us, y'all go upstairs there and sleep till daylight and then go back up there. And so that's what we did. We got back up there, and Lieutenant Nightingale got killed at night in the barrage. And it's the last time, you know, I spoke to him when he told us to come on back because he thought we was in for it tonight. He figured that by them sending that smokes in there, you know. And they laid it on that night. And we came back from 1017. I don't know, we got relieved. I don't know who relieved us that time. Anyway, we came back, and I believe we came back to Naples for R&R again. And they got us ready for 1205. That's 1017 number that one, next in 1205, and that's the one where I got my trench knees and all that stuff. And that mountain was so high that the donkeys could carry stuff up so far, and as far as they could go. And you couldn't walk up it. I don't know how they managed to get up there and get it, but they got a rope down off of that mountain, tied down at the top. And you went up and you got to hold that rope and you pulled yourself up. That's the way you got up.
Wow.
And we were under observation there, and well, we wasn't right up that spot, we wasn't, but on back down the hill a ways we were. And so we go up there, and they sent us back to get some water, you know, 5-gallon cans. There was a water point back down behind us a good ways, and of course you had to tie that water jug on your shoulder or something with a strap till you could climb up that hill. But there was 2 brothers there that was walking along about, I don't know, maybe far from here the road apart. And one of them in front got hit directly with a shell. I mean, he was gone. And this other one went crazy. And actually they had to send him back to Section 8. I mean, he just lost it all. And we went ahead and carried the stuff up there and the water and stuff, you know, and we was up on the hill there for, I don't know, several days before we was sent out on that outpost. But I was over there this one day, and it was our tanks made an attack on San Pietro, and we got a tape of that in there, of San Pietro, and I was sitting pretty close where this guy was sitting taking those photographs. I didn't even know he was there.
Because he wasn't there, it was a reenactment.
I think that was the real thing, because it was perfect.
I heard the director talking about it.
Yeah.
They reenacted it, and every time the shell went off, he checked the camera, so it looked like it was shaking.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I was over there, and they started shooting at me with that 88. I figured it was shooting at me because I had binoculars, you know, looking. I was watching those tanks attack them, and that German anti-tank gun was sitting behind some buildings in San Pedro. They'd watch, you know, their observers watched, and when a tank popped around the ridge, they had to go around this ridge like that. It's in a holler and out around the ridge, and in a holler and out around the ridge. And that tank, American tank, got to a certain point, you know, why the spotter would call their tank crew, and they'd come out there and they'd knock the tank out. And they knocked, I don't know, 6 or 7 of our tanks out there that day. Anyway, they stopped the attack, and then our airplanes gave them a dose of their own medicine. But they were shooting at me with that 88, and I was sure it was me because they had them binoculars, and they thought I was an observer for our artillery, you know. But I got back on the opposite side of the mountain. They started shooting at that 88.
Yeah.
And anyway, here come those P-51s. Boy, you're talking about tearing up jack. Now, they tore up jack down where that gun was at between them 2 buildings. And I know they bound and knocked it out. they peel off better, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat, and then boom, they done dropped their bomb. They hadn't go off, and here's another right behind him. And I mean, they bombed and strafed that place to pieces. And I was sitting right there watching and listening to all that, I watched those planes going in and see them diving, but I wasn't over where those guys could see me, I'll tell you for sure. I done got back on this side of the hill. And I'll tell you one thing, buddy, if that wasn't an actual picture of that mountain,
It's the same mountain, it's just a reenactment of the battle.
it might have been that. But that's exactly just like it was when I was there. I seen it. As soon as they showed the picture, I said, well, I was there. I've been there,
Yeah.
And
It's one of the battles they wouldn't let the press go in on.
yeah, they got a lot of men slaughtered there, and then when they attacked at San Pedro, but we had already pulled out and headed back to go to Anzio at that time. And then you remember I told you about the guy that was talking about we didn't know we had black people soldiering over there. Well, while I was back in the hospital in Naples, the Germans made a counterattack, and he was a BAR man, it's a Browning automatic rifle.
Mhm.
And he was defending that position so our boys could withdraw. And when our boys counterattacked the Germans and got back up there, Tom was laying there dead with a bullet hole right between his eyes. But there was about, I believe it says 16 Germans out in front of him.
Hmm.
So he took his toll while he was, holding them off until our men got back. Tom was from out in Ohio. He was a married guy. And he slipped up and went with some woman over there, and it just like to kill him. And he sat down and wrote a letter to his wife, and he told her, said, if you want to, you go ahead and go out to somebody else. Said, I made a mistake, and I know I made it. And said, I'm sorry, he wrote all that in his letter. But I don't know what come out of course, he died over there, so I don't know what she had to say about it after that. I said, in one place there in I see, that was it, Lee. We was in this little town, and this lieutenant guy told me, so your buddy said, you get in there and you clean that garage. I said, just take gasoline, pour it over the floor there and scrub it up. Said, we got the I don't know, the colonel or somebody was coming around to inspect it. And here I got there, man, so wonder I hadn't died, or even if somebody didn't come along and light a match, if somebody lit a match, I'd have been blown to smithereens.
Yeah.
Well, here come a captain or something who's, is bigger than the guy that gave me the orders to do that. So what in the world are you doing there? Get out of there, So I got out there. And I said, well, the lieutenant told me he cleaned up, so he was going to have an inspection. And so he went and got the lieutenant. He told him, boy, said, don't you never do that. So we need that gasoline for these tanks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't waste gasoline and stuff like that on this. Besides that, said, you put that boy in danger. He told me, he said, you get out, don't you hit a tap at nothing the rest of the day. So I got the day off.
All right.
And we went to England, but when I got on the boat, we got on the boat there in Naples. And we're sitting on the bulkhead, there's several of us sitting there, and we was already out, headed on in the ocean there. And these guys are talking, and I turned around to the guy beside me, I said, what nationality them guys over there talking? I don't understand the word they're saying. He stems English. Couldn't understand them. And it's like I told Kevin them here not long ago about a lorry. You know what a lorry is? A what? A what, Ma?
No money.
No money. A lorry is a truck.
That's right.
You guessed three things.
She guessed it straight, didn't she?
I used to work crossword puzzles.
Oh, yeah. It was a a lorry, and then their gasoline was
Petrol.
petrol. So you see, their words are not exactly like ours. I mean, and their money's a lira is Italian. Their money was shillings and
Pounds.
and threepence and pennies. But we was helping observe there. We went over where the ships were landing, and they were building trucks and jeeps and stuff like that. We would take them from there over to where they were shipping them over into France. That's during the D-Day invasion. And finally they loaded us up for a jump in Holland. We jumped, it's supposed to have been 72 hours ahead of the English Second Army. It was more than 72 hours because they got held up a bit on the way. And we took the first bridge across the Rhine River intact. I had the privilege of helping carry a load of ammo across there while I was still fighting on the other end of it. Took it over and unloaded it on the bridge. They were running low, and the houses around on that end was still smoking, you know, and they were still shelling and so on. But when we come to this end of the bridge, there was a sergeant there, and he was swearing, using all kinds of foul language. But of course I couldn't blame him. I mean, the Germans had got up in that bridge, and as they were driving through there, see, his buddy walked past this one who was up in the girder work, and he shot him in the back. And I guess this sergeant killed the German, I don't know, but anyway, oh, he was mad. And he cursed and he said, "Give him a jerk that I want to hear him squash when he hits the pavement." So, you know, he was mad. But that's kind of a sad part of the war.
Yeah.
But you lose a lot of buddies and things. One guy saved his life in Anzio. He got killed about 3 or 4 days later. He got off the boat and he couldn't swim, and he was away from it. You had to pull yourself into the shore because we got bombed and strafed while we were coming into land. And they got a direct hit one boat over from us and went right down the smokestack of mountain. And we were diving, strafing and dive bombing. And so he got away from the rope, and I dumped my cargo of ammo, mortar rounds, and got him, pulled him back to the rope. I got on shore. The officer cussing, never got my life, except when I was in Belgium. And the lieutenant went in and dived in there and got that and brought it back and said, "Boy, don't you never throw your ammo away. Don't never do that." Said, "You had one man there, you say, but somebody got him." But said, "We might have gotten a place where we needed that ammo would save a lot of people's lives." He explained it to me, you know, but he gave me a raking from here to yonder. The next time I got cursed out was in Belgium. And this was in a sort of beer garden or something. I don't remember. Anyway, I had to go to the bathroom. And so I asked the guy at the bar, you know, and as best I could with the French, and where the bathroom was, and he told me it was back there. So I went back. There's them swinging doors, sort of like you had in the old Western movies, you know, up to the bars.
Yeah.
And saloons. And I walked through there, and I never thought about looking back, turned the thing loose. It almost hit this woman in the face, and she come through there, boy, she cussed me up one side and down the other. The men walked straight ahead. They had a trough up there. It's a pocketbook holder, by the way, Gene, so you know what we're talking about. Anyway, they had little stalls off on the side. The women went into the stalls, and the men went straight ahead. So men and women went the same back route.
Yeah.
Was there any other pranks that you did while you were in the war?
Well, I don't know. I did probably several of them, but just to recall them right now, I might not be able to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But I can tell you one thing. It was funny to me. I don't know if it'd be funny to you or not. But I went in, see, in July. And they called me and they sent me to Huntington. Well, we had to stay down there a night or two, and then they sent us on to Fort Thomas, Kentucky. But Well, we were in Huntington. It was so hot. They didn't have air conditioners then, you know. And I hadn't even heard of them at that time. Anyway, they built us in a hotel. And it was so hot in that hotel, it was upstairs, you know, and there was no way that you could sleep or anything. So we got out, went down to the park and got on the park bench, started to sleep. Well, here comes a cop and runs us out. Well, we go out and walk around a little time long enough for him to get away, and then we go back in there and lay down in the park again. He comes back again and runs us out. Anyway, one time while he run us out, and we was walking down the street, and there's a couple of cars parked right on the side of the street, you know. So we got there, and this old boy says, well, I've got to go, you know, I got to pee. So, well, go there in front of them cars, and, you know, so he walked up in front of the radiator like he's working on it or something. He cut loose, and the guy come from behind the wheel, he rolled the window down and said, hey, what you doing in my car out there? Sounds like a woman, you know, talking. Yeah. Well, this guy, he got started, couldn't stop. And so he put his faucet backward, and he wet his britches off. And anyway, you know, they dried during the night, but that was so funny to me, you know. Whoever it was sounded like a woman talking, you know, screaming, just real loud. He was or she was or whichever it was. But I remember that, and that always tickled me so much I think of it, you know. It's kind of embarrassing for him, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why you're the one telling the story.
Yeah.
You had told us once when you were using the bathroom over at Trough and someone was shooting at you, or...
Yeah, that was over in Germany.
Oh yeah, what's that story? Because it's kind of funny.
Well, I was using the bathroom, so to speak, and this guy, I don't know how far away, it's pretty far away, but I heard the bullet go across up the top, and I heard the report, you know, way back yonder from where he was at. I didn't pay no mind, just he shot about 2 or 3 times, and of course he was getting closer all the time. Last time he got too close. And so I left that place right quick. I didn't take time to take care of myself very much either. That came later.
Yeah.
But over there you couldn't even trust a kid because it had what they call a German youth.
Yeah.
And you walk by a 12-year-old kid, he'd shoot you in the back. So you couldn't trust the kids or nothing. And talking about all the bad places you could get in over there in the Battle of the Bulge, the Germans lined our boys up out in the field there and took a machine gun to them. Our orders come down to repay the, you know, the privilege or whatever. Ours was no quarter. That meant you didn't take no prisoners or nothing.
That must have been tough. I mean, was there any times when people would try and surrender and things of that nature?
There's bound to be, and I didn't see any, but there's bound to be some, because, you know, when you get the best of the other fellow, and you got orders to go ahead and waylay him just like he did your people. I mean, it's tit for tat.
Yeah.
These guys, about two of them was in that lineup, and they wasn't shot, but they fell in the ditch and played dead. And then when the Germans moved on, well, they escaped, you know, and got back to our lines. That's how they found out about it. And one time, I was giving orders. We was on the third line of defense. Anything moves in front of you tonight, boys, kill it. And of course, we had 2 lines of soldiers out ahead of us yet. But the thing of it was, the Germans had been taking our uniforms and infiltrating, and some of them could speak English just like we could. And they had already pulled that on us, so there wasn't no quarter to be given. And if one of our own people came, we wouldn't know where it was ours or not. thankful I didn't have to kill nobody there.
Did you ever run into anybody like that? Any of the Germans who were wearing our uniforms or anything like that?
No, but they did it there, and we were told about it, you know. In the Battle of the Bulge, they did a lot of things they weren't supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys ever run into any of the German tanks?
Well, I never did, you know, as far as run right in face to face with them,
Mm-hmm.
because usually they were firing at us from a distance. That's the way they would fire at us. Just like they would with the artillery piece. That 88 was, you know, it was a direct gun. If you got behind the hill from him, he couldn't hit you. It's just like firing a rifle. You know, a rifle, the bullet travels this way in an arc. It's you think of it as firing, you know, in a straight line. It's straight for a little bit and then begins to lose its trajectory.
Mm-hmm. Now you had told us that you got a guitar over there somewhere.
Yeah, and in Naples, I got hold of a Tata back guitar. The bottom of the back of it's round, you know, like that. I gave it to Alvin when I was going to the front, and I hadn't been up very long till he was there too, at Anzio.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he did with it. I guess he gave it to somebody.
Now, how did you get a hold of it?
I bought it in Naples.
So they just had shops there and they sold stuff to you? Or?
Oh, yeah. But we went in Naples, the Germans had sabotaged their water supply and everything, and those people were drinking out of the sewer. All the water they had to drink.
That's tough. Now, how were the citizens, how did the people, how did they treat you guys?
Oh, they treated us nice. In Italy and Holland. Holland's a whole lot like the United States. In fact, cars they'd bought in 1939, brand new ones, they took them, and when the Germans come and take the place, they'd dig them a hole and bury them.
Huh.
When we went in there, they'd dig them out and tell us, help yourself.
Oh, how?
Yeah. You know, when we hauled that load of ammunition across that bridge at Nijmegen, what we had was a tractor and trailer, and it was a wood-fired. That was what you used for fuel. You could throw a bunch of leaves or old bark or just about anything that would burn like that and run that booger. It didn't have a real sharp exhaust, you know, like ours is. Ours cracks like a cannon or something, or you know how the exhaust is, but that was dull, thud-like, you know. Because I guess the gas from that wood's just not that strong. But it'd carry a load, slow, but it'd carry it.
Now you had told us that you and some guys were in one of those trucks and you had driven by like a German gun or something.
That was the truck. Yeah, that's when we was on the way to that bridge in. We went up the top of the hill, we got lost off of the, you know, right went to the bridge. Went up on this hill, we got on top of it, and there were soldiers on the right side, and they're standing down in the basement door of the building on that side of the street, you know. And say, hey, you guys, them Germans are in those houses across the street there. And but we piled off and got down in the slot too, and so had an Indian boy, he's an American Indian, and Chief Montego, that's what his name was. Anyway, he pulled that thing straight over the hill and he's looking right straight at an anti-tank gun, sitting down and aimed right towards you. Backed that thing around the corner with a load of ammo in it, pulled out, and we jumped on it and took off and went on down and took it to the bridge. That load of ammunition is what kept the bridge in our hands.
Now, did you guys have the little noise makers to identify yourself to your own guys?
No, we had passwords.
And what were some of the passwords you guys had?
Oh goodness, you asked me something I couldn't tell you now.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Mom was wanting to know if you remembered any of the old Army songs that you guys had.
Well, no, I don't really. I can remember, a few words of each one of them, but not much. Airborne we fly the sky, paratrooper do or die. Ski troops like the wind we go. Let's see, that's about all I can remember right now. We're sons of guns, we won't take no for an answer, I believe is what it was. Can't stop those paratroops tumbling down into the fray. It's not the way it used to be. A bigger and better infantry is in the air today. So see, we're the first airborne troops.
Um,
And you don't remember a thing about that when you're taking the ride with me, did you?
no.
My mom said that you told her a story once that somebody said called you an SOB or something like that, and you hit them.
Oh, that was in Camp Wallace, Texas. And, basic training. And President Roosevelt, people had drafted him for his, I don't remember, it's third or fourth term. I don't remember where I got to vote for the fourth one or not. I don't remember. Anyway, whichever one it was, he's talking, and this guy said, anybody vote for him wouldn't make a good SOB. And what I'd said this before, I said, buddy, he's been the best president we've had. As far as I'm concerned, if he'd run again, I'd vote for him. And he said anybody vote for him would make a good SOB. So he hit the floor off his back. And he got up, he's bigger than me. He'd have tore me apart probably. Them guys grabbed him and said, "No, then you started this, buddy, you leave him alone." But there's something that happened there that you might get a kick out of, and I did. kind of enjoyed it too, the last part of it anyway. Did you ever get in a store behind somebody that hadn't took a bath for 2 or 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know how the smell.
Yeah.
Well, we got behind a guy, and he hadn't took a bath in how long. I don't know whether he ever did take one or not. Anyway, that's the way it smelled. And we got back to camp from this march, and you imagine marching behind a guy like that for all day just about.
Mm-hmm.
We got back to camp with a scrub brush and a bar of OK soap. He got a shower. And I'll guarantee you there wasn't nobody getting that shower before he could after that. And he didn't stink after that either.
Now, how many times did you jump out of planes when you were over there?
I jumped 5 times from the tower. Then I had 11 jumps altogether. The rest of them was from the plane. Some were practice, but there was 2 combat. Last combat jump I jumped was supposed to be 72 hours behind the enemy lines. But it run to almost double that before they got to us. And the guy told me one day there's a German plane come across it, where we were at on the top of that mountain, and at Nijmegen. And I forget this name. It was just a little town like on top of the hill, was still virtually in Nijmegen. And this German plane come over strafing, and he was dropping in the personnel bombs. Sort of like a hand grenade or something. And we hit the ground, why it exploded and threw them all over the place, and then they exploded in turn, and all that stuff. Anyway, I hit it when I heard him coming, and you was coming at us, and I dived in that foxhole head first. This guy said as he was diving in his, he seen one of them things go off right behind me. And he said, I knew it done killed you. But see, there's a guardian angel. And I'm satisfied there is, because man, the times I've been so close, being killed, wasn't even fun.
What was the closest time that you had to?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that because I don't really know. I've been so many close places, not only in the war but in the mines and stuff. You know. 1957 was working for Bob Foster. I just started working for him. First mines that I worked for him in, and we were running coal, and we were standing out next to the tipple one day, and these boys came out of there. They was waiting on them, I guess, to shoot their coal down or something. Anyway, they come out there and said, "If you guys want that car, you ever get in there and get it." I don't know why they didn't bring it with them. Me and Bob went in there after it, reached for the car, and the car was sitting over here, and the corner of the place was right there, you know. Reached for that car, and Bob was on this side. He was farther away from it than I was. And I heard the thing pop, and I said, "Look out, Bob!" And we jumped backwards, and it come down, but it just right in front of us, and I mean, it smashed that car flat on the flip. I don't know, there was thousands and thousands of tons of rock on top of it. And we were that close to it, so you say, I couldn't tell you. I've been so close so many times. Like the guy was shooting at me by that time.
Yeah.
He come pretty close. But I had a good old praying mother here at home, and a praying church. The churches all over the country was praying.
Mm-hmm.
Mom said that there was, I think you said it was sometime when you were working on the coal mines or something, there was a guy that kept, I guess, trying to pick a fight with you or something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he died recently. Yeah, we were pretty good friends, but see, I made better money than they did because I was running the motor, and I was getting paid by the car that I pulled, and he was loading coal, so I was making better money than he was. And so he got to picking at me, you know, and said he would, one of these days he's going to take me off that motor and whip me, you know, take my job. And one day I went there and he said, "But I said, for 2 cents, I just pull you off there and whip you good. That's your job." Lincoln Calloway. I just reached my pocket, put out 2 cents, laid the price on my buddy. "There's your 2 cents. Come and get it." And he turned around and he said, "I don't want 2 cents. I just kidding." And he told them guys, they told him about it after. Said, "He said, old Price would fight you if he took a notion."
Now, where were you when you found out that the war was over? That the war ended?
I was in Germany.
Where at in Germany? Do you remember?
I don't remember the name of the place where we were at. But this I remember, and I said all along, if I ever get through this war to the end of it, I'm going to get drunk to celebrate. By that time, I didn't change my mind about getting drunk.
Mm-hmm.
But I had 2 friends there, and they come over to me and said, "Buddy," said, "we found some wine over here," and said, "It's just like, tastes just like Coca-Cola. So why don't you come over and have a shot of it?" I said, "Well, I'll go over and taste it." And I went over and I had me a canteen cup of it, you know. They poured it out and handed it to me. I tasted. I said, "Yeah, it does taste a lot like Coke, don't it?" Zip it down. And one of them said, "Oh, Pricey, I ain't never seen you drunk, but boy, I'm going to see you drunk before this day's over." And he didn't lie a bit. I was so drunk, I remembered, you know, that the lieutenant came down and I was sitting by the edge of the garage, you know, with my back up against the wall. And he told the sergeant, said, "Sergeant, the colonel's coming down, the inspector," and said, "You got to do something with that." And I knew he was talking about me, but I couldn't move a muscle.
Yeah.
Well, the next thing I remembered, I was up in where I was billeted, as they call it. You know, that's where he stayed, in the house. And I was laying on the bed, and I started heaving behind that bed.
Oh.
And I was sick, and I got rid of all that. Then I wanted I wanted a drink of water, I believe. It was a drink of water so bad I could taste it, but didn't have any, you know, in there. And I finally got some water, but man, was I sick. And then I was drunk.
Now, when did you quit drinking?
About 47, 48. I guess saving 48, and I never drank nothing after that. Between 45 and 47, I drank, I think, 1 or maybe 2 bottles of beer. That's all.
Now, at the end of the war, what happened? How did you? What all did you do to get back home?
Well, you see, it's according to how long you were over there, you got points.
Yeah.
And by the points is how you were sent back. I had 87 points.
Mhm.
So that was pretty well up there, you know. I didn't have to wait over there too long. But it seemed like a long time, but maybe a month or something.
Now, after the war was over, were you still having skirmishes with the enemy? And
No.
by that time, they were pretty much whooped.
They surrendered, they just dropped their weapons and turned them in and everything. They was anxious to get back home.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody over top of them then, you know. They were free to go home.
So after you had enough points, did the army ship you back here, or what? All
Yeah,
did you
they
have to do?
shipped us back to New York. No, Boston. We came back to Boston. And then we came by train from Boston to Fort Meade, Maryland. That's where we got discharged from.
And what did you do from there to get here?
We got a taxi, and he had a LaSalle. But the guy had been running so much, and he was so sleepy he couldn't keep his eyes open. But he went by, and he's divorced, but he had 2 or 3 kids. He went by to take the kids some candy and stuff on the way coming this way. And we come around the Narrows from Virginia to West Virginia. Buddy, I was sitting in the middle next to him. And we was 3 of us in the front seat and 3 in the back. And I'd see, you know, his eyes are closing. That thing would be gaining speed. Hey, buddy, wake up. You know, wake him up. Get to coming on one of them curves. And finally I said, buddy, listen, you're so sleepy. Why don't you just move over here and I may drive this car on in? Because I said, you're going to kill us all.
Yeah.
If you don't, he said, okay, so maybe better. So I can stay awake.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove from there on into Princeton. And Princeton, we called us a bus. We didn't want to ride him no more.
I'll bet. Yeah. Now, how much did that cost you to ride all the way down?
I don't remember. It wasn't that bad because there's so many of us, you know.
Yeah. Did what were your duties while you were waiting to get shipped out?
I think maybe we made a jump after, you know, just before we came home. I remember jumping in France and landing in a plowed field. That's kind of funny. You know, you have risers on there, as they call them, on those parachutes.
Mhm.
And your parachute was around, and it's 28 feet circumference, I believe what they call it, ain't it?
Circumference.
Circumference, yeah. Anyway, the civilian chute was 32 feet. What we had was 28 feet, and we were loaded down with equipment, when
Yeah.
we jumped. And we come on down. Anyway, I jumped in that field that time. The wind was blowing pretty hard. I hit the plowed field, and I was thankful for that because it's kind of a cushion.
Yeah.
But I went down on my shoulder, and it was pulling me, you know, and dragging me. Well, I started pulling my bottom risers, you know, to collapse the chute so the air would go out of it. I was trying to climb this way. Well, here come 2 Frenchmen to help me. They've got the top ones, and they're pulling them. Here we all went across the field, my shoulder just a plowing up on the ground. I'm just about to kick them off of me. In order to, you know, to get stopped and get the chute collapsed.
Yeah. Well, they were trying to help.
Yeah, they were trying to help. But out of all those jumps I made, I've only made one. I was standing when I landed. The rest of the time, my leg bones tried to go through your ankles.
Now, where was the one time that you landed on your feet?
I don't remember where it was at. I know where this cactus fields I dreaded jumping. And I'll tell you, if you're in one of them cactus bush, boy, you were.
Mm. Now, did you ever land in a cactus bush?
No, that. I managed to slip out of it somewhere.
Now, you had said after you got saved that you quit drinking and everything.
Mhm.
How long after the war did, I mean, it was in 48, you said, when did you go in and get saved?
I got out in 1945,
Mhm.
September 29th.
No, what happened when you got saved? You just went to church one night?
No, I had been traveling around these revivals. There's big revival going on. Everywhere was revival. Everywhere you looked, there was revival going on. And I went this and over there, and back in the 30s when I lived in England Branch, I listened to this preacher out of Charleston, Earl G. Hissom.
Related
That
to
ring,
Davy
does that
Jones.
ring any bells?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's who I listened to. And he preached revival up here for Preacher Montcar. And it was during that revival that I received Christ as my Savior. I mean, I thought it was all right when I was overseas, you know, but really, I might have been all right, I don't know, but I hadn't really had the action I got there. You feel the presence of the Holy Spirit, then it's a different story.
Yeah. Now, were you already married at that time?
No. That's before we got married. Funny part though is when I asked Jean to marry me, she went and told him. Her dad said, bad on both sides. And she didn't tell me about that for a long time. I got a kick out of it though, but what he meant was, my dad was a chronic alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
So was my mother's brothers. He knew both sides of the family. So he said, bad on both sides. But I think he was kind of satisfied with his son-in-law.
How long did you guys go out before you got married?
About a year or so, wasn't it, Gene? It's been so long ago she don't remember. She don't even remember when she was single. And I'm the same way. Been married so long, we've been married all our lives.
Sorry.
Calm down.
You got to line it up now, sure, am I still on there?
You're alright.
Well, it looks to me like it's aimed over there someplace.
It's alright. I got you on there.
Okay.
And you're pretty as a picture.
Oh, thank you. I always knew that, but I hadn't been told.